Welcome to the show. I am Max with another unscheduled stream coming at you. Just like to surprise you sometimes. This is becoming more frequent, actually. I don't know. I just have some ideas for streams sometimes, and I just think I don't know because I don't when I plan them, then I kind of get that anxiety beforehand. Okay, do I have everything in order? Yeah, do I have time? All this stuff. And sometimes throughout the day, I don't know if I have time or not. So I just I create them if I have an idea. I make them private until maybe like a few minutes beforehand or an hour or so. I'm like, okay, I think I want to get, I think I have time. I think I have the energy. I think I want to go live and talk about this stuff. So this one was an idea I had that I wanted to go through. It's a technical deep dive. I mean, it's if you don't know much about computers or networking and stuff, I think it's more of a deep dive, more for people who are beginners who I just want to kind of pull back the curtain of like how the internet works, like how this type of stuff works, especially. And I thought, hey, why not? I'm in the Hex community. I'll just use hex.com for an example because that would be fun. That would be more fun than some other random stuff. So what's up, Blue Collar Grunt? Appreciate it, man. Gosh, Blue Collar Grunt. I'm a white collar grunt currently, and I was every once in a while I get reminded of that. I'm just like, no matter what position you are, no matter how how much you're paid, it's like the Naval quote is it doesn't matter how rich you are, all this stuff. If somebody gets to tell you how to dress, when to show up, what to do, if somebody gets to tell you that, then you're not really rich, or you're not really free. So that's a Naval Ravikant quote I like a lot, that I try to live by. So your name reminded me of that. I was I have a job and I can't wait till I own my own time, because every once in a while that job gets frustrating. And so I get to come on and stream with you all and talk about this fun stuff. So I'm going to get into it. And let's see, let me share the screen. I tweeted on Twitter. I just tweeted though, so I'm surprised not many people are here. I'm not surprised not many people are here because probably nobody knows about it. Again, unscheduled, or they're not interested in the topic. I think it's interesting, and I have a lot of computer knowledge I can share. So first thing, and I'll drop the link in the chat if you want to go here. It's a common question that kind of goes into a lot of different verticals. A lot of times people use it for interviews at tech jobs and stuff, where what happens when you type a URL into your browser? Like what happens when you go to a website? And it's actually a lot of stuff behind the scenes. Modern web browsers and things, they hide a lot of the stuff. They don't make it even look like there's anything going on other than, oh, can't go to the website because it's down or something. It's usually what your response is. Oh, website's down, so can't go to it. And I'll post this real quick. But there's actually a lot that goes on. And this one Amazon blog is the one that I'll start with. And I did a bunch of research to figure out, what I want to talk about in this too. So it's not just completely, it's not an unprepared stream. It's just an unscheduled one because I didn't know when I was going to do it. So actually a lot of stuff goes on. So for one, look up the location of the server. So if you're not sure what happens when you type something in, for example, hex.com, when you type that in, that this actually maps to an IP address. And if we go to, let's see, I don't have one off the top of my head, but if I go to domain to IP address, there's all kinds of online stuff to do this. I can do the console tools too, but it's just easier to show you here. So I'll just type in hex.com. Oh yeah. Converter is an interesting word. It should be resolver. So what it's doing is it's asking the domain server, hey, who owns hex.com? There's all these domain servers, all these DNS servers you're probably familiar with, that know the different. It gets really complex with caches and stuff like that. But essentially, your browser is like, hey, Google 8888.8.8.8, or some other domain server, your ISP's domain server. Where is hex.com? What IP address does that map to? Where can I go? So I'm going to simplify a lot of stuff, but essentially it resolves this name resolves to this IP address. And that's what you're at the network layer, that, there is no DNS. That's the application layer. So at the network layer, and I don't want to go into the seven different layers of stuff, but essentially when your computers talk to each other, they're routed over the internet. and they have IP addresses. And this is the public IP address for hex.com. Now, there could be a private IP address as well. So if it uses Amazon EC2 and cloud providing, it may have an internal network and stuff like that. But essentially, this is how your computer, your browser is saying, okay, I have an IP address. I'm on the internet. Internet is just a network. It's just like the biggest network, the public network. It's just another, just like your LAN, your local area network at home, where you have all your local devices and stuff. When you have your local router, which knows everything, and there's a whole different translation between your local router and LAN addresses to the internet. That's a different layer too. But the internet is just one big network, and with a bunch of the complicated routing stuff going on. So 18.146. This is what it currently points to. Now it could point to different addresses since internet stuff has gotten more complex in the last decade or two. If we did this again, it could resolve to a different one because maybe there's, a whole bunch of scalability stuff going on, and things like that. I don't want to get into reverse proxies and all that stuff, but essentially, this is how your browser knows what to talk to. So, when one cent hex. Yes, this is also AMA. So if you type questions in, I'll get your questions as well because I keep everything AMA. But essentially, we're gonna go down this rabbit hole of what happens when you type it in. So look up the location, hosting the website. We got the IP address. It uses the IP address to make the connection to the actual server. It sends a request to get the specific page. So if you go to, if you're going like hex.com, well, I guess a better example is go.hex.com / we actually we might look that up too, because that would be interesting to see the DApp stuff going on, or /stake or it is stake, isn't it? I don't want to go to it too early, but yeah, I forgot what it was. So the different stuff, it'll make that request. So let's just open another tab so I can go to hex.com here in a minute. And then handle the response. So the server is like, okay, I've got hex.com, or I've got go.hex.com /stake, or you do, let's see, go.hex.com / not a page, or not something that it has. It redirects. So different servers act differently. So this one redirects back to hex.com. Some of them traditionally you would get a 404 error, not found. Let's see what hex.com does. Not a thing. Yeah, so here you go. 404 not found. So this is interesting too. If you were fingerprinting this and trying to figure out what's going on, to me, this looks like a key does not exist. Looks like an AWS thing. It looks like an EC2, or it looks like an S3 bucket or instance or something. So we'll get into that a little bit later. I did a little bit of research, so I kind of know a couple things ahead of time. But it looks like hex.com, from what I can tell, is listed on some kind of AWS services, and it could just be an S3 bucket, a static S3 bucket, which is a very secure way of doing it. I wouldn't surprise me if Richard thought of that, because that means that it's much more secure than just a dynamically a server that you're able to update the pages and stuff. Makes it much less likely to get hacked, assuming you keep your keys safe and all that stuff. So it would not surprise me if it was just an S3 content. Content.s3, AWS is S3 service host. And S3 is like go look at my cloud. I'll type it in here. I got the cloud stuff, so I'll just briefly touch on it. Yeah, cloud security. So S3. So there you go. Let's have a very good reason. Static web content, which could be hex.com or something of that nature. It's got a bunch of things about S3 security. Anyways, going back, let's go. So you get the response from the server, and then the browser actually renders the page. So the server sends back, here's all the HTML, here's all the JavaScript, here's all the web code of whatever sort your browser knows how to read and then display to you. And that's how you interact with the website. So in the background, a lot of stuff's going on. So the websites, DNS we talked about. Yeah, this breaks it down. You type this in. There's different parts of the scheme itself. Like within the browser, there's HTTP, there's HTTPS, there's FTP, may be still around. And there's, 3 different parts. So you got the scheme of the domain or the subdomain. And then you have the path, which is the request, what we're actually requesting, and that could contain other arguments or other variables and other stuff too, and get requests, and then there's post request. I don't want to get too much into HTTP protocol, but yeah, the resource. So browser accepts the domain, initiates the connection. This is looking at a trace route to see where you are from that host you're trying to communicate to, how far away you are. Usually the closer you are, the faster your connection. Response time is going to be all that stuff. That's like a networking layer. I'm trying to touch on the interesting parts, but not go too deep in certain areas before I lose you on that. Anyways, I wanted to, let's see what I got on the list. So that reference, also certificates is another thing. So for example, you can look here. If you ever see a broken red lock, that don't go to that page, especially don't connect your wallet to that page, because that could be, an attempt to go to a fake website, which may scam you and all this stuff. So if you either see green or you see nothing, yeah, that's a tracking thing. This is Firefox, and Chrome may be slightly different, but verified, connection secure. More information. So we're basically looking at the certificate information for this website. Tells you all the ciphers and stuff. Where's this? Oh, view certificate. There we go. So now we can view the certificate. We can see that Amazon issued the certificate. So it looks even more likely that this is, hosted on Amazon services, Amazon cloud services, such as EC2, such as S3. EC2 is for spin up it's general compute. So you can spin up a web server, you can spin up an email server, whatever. You can also use S3, which I talked about a minute ago, and you can just create a bucket, and that bucket is public, and it points to a domain. And now you serve static web content from there, or maybe that web content also interacts with other resources, but essentially two different ways to host a website through Amazon that are most common. This certificate is for hex.com, or looks like it's anything at hex.com as well, the asterisk there. And nothing super interesting in this. You could just tell a little bit about how the website works and who issued it, and we can talk all about domain, like there's root domains, there's intermediate domains, all that stuff in the chain of trust with certificate authorities and centralized authorities, basically, in a lot of ways. So that's hex.com certificate. Let me go back to, we'll get into before I get into debug console, I'll do this port scan thing too, because I think that's interesting. So all these are dev tools that anyone can use, and mostly developers may use, and things like that. But we'll just do hex.com. It's going to resolve that to an IP address. Usually you're going to want to use IP address. I mean, I don't know. We could use this IP address too. Why not? IP addresses are not private stuff, by the way. I mean, for servers, obviously anyone on the internet can go look at IP address like this. So we're going to look for server ports. And again, usually when I'm doing this stuff, I'm usually doing it in the console, or I'm writing a script or something when I'm wanting to check this stuff. But it's easier to show it all through a web browser. And this is just people who have implemented this on the front end, and on the back end, there's actually scripts pulling this stuff down, or libraries doing it and stuff too. So I'm just going to run a port scan online here. That's just going to go through and just confirm what you should probably already assume. HTTP runs on 80. HTTPS runs on 443. Now, port 80 may be open just to redirect it, because everything, they probably want everything to be SSL. But to identify a web server, if you see 80 or 443, you know that those things should be open on hex.com. So web browsers can talk to them and do stuff like that. Also look at domain history real quick, because I thought that was something fun. So if we type in hex.com and this one, also see what other domains in history have, or what other subdomains in history have been a thing. So apparently at some point test.hex.com was a thing. If you would imagine early days of Hex, Richard testing these things, or his devs, setting this stuff up. off.hex.com. Some of these you try to go to them now and they don't work because, maybe, like I said, maybe they're old ones. Let's see. Yeah, off.hex.com doesn't work. API.hex.com works. So that could be API access for, not found. So it doesn't mean it doesn't work. It doesn't mean it's not functional. It just means it doesn't know what it. We tried to get this path, which is this is default, /index path basically, and nothing's there. But maybe there's other ways to interact with API. So that's, but we know that that's still a server, but off.hex.com isn't. Go to hex.com. We know that one still works. Data blast update. You can see the history. So this is just kind of give you a view of the different subdomains that hex.com has. Again, all this public information, devs know all about it. Nothing secret or magic. It's just knowing what to look for and how to look for it. Jerry, it's funny. What if you get a 304? Actually, good question, Jerry. You're contributing. A 304 response code for HTTP means not modified. Not modified client redirection means there is no need to retransmit the requested sources. So I don't know if you're joking or if that's actually something you've seen before. It's not very common though. It's not a very common one. So the common ones are like 404. That's cannot find a resource, not found. What we just saw on the API one. There's also 500, which means the server had an error of some sort. The server, maybe there's some backend bug that it just can't process the connection anymore. A lot of times if something gets hacked or exchange goes down or whatever, you get 500, you may get 501, 500 level responses, we call them. So it could be 501, 502. They map to slightly different things. 401, another common one, unauthorized, which means, you need to authenticate or based on whatever criteria that the server requires you to username and password or come from a specific IP address or whatever it is. They put some kind of security restrictions in place that is going to not let you in. So 403, similar in a way that you're also forbidden for some resource. So that's maybe an ACL, usually an ACL thing. It's kind of fluid. I mean, it can be implemented a lot of different ways, but essentially means you don't have access for some reason to that resource. And then the one that everyone gets every time they go to a website successfully is a 200. 200, it's just, okay, content's good, we're good. We're going to the website. So let's go to hex.com, but let's pull up the, let's see, the dev tools, browser tools. Yeah, web dev tools. So it's super easy. Chrome has the same thing, Chrome dev tools, Firefox dev tools. And this is just going to tell us a lot of information when we go to a page. So on the network side, go to hex.com. We see the status, the response code 200 from the server. Cool. It's a GET request, which means there's GET request, POST request. GET is just give me a resource. POST is I'm pushing data to the server, and the server is going to parse it. That's probably all you need to know about that particular one. What's cool about dev resources is we can look at all the files that are hosted on the server. So NASCAR, we can see that, that's a picture somewhere on the website. So it's coming up here. What is RT? Yeah, that's Reddit's logo and all that stuff. So you can get a look at all the resources, how big the resources are. If you want to download them yourself, like maybe you can use this as a trick to download stuff off a website when you don't even help you find stuff on a website to download that you wouldn't have noticed before. Maybe, the Woodmark logo. I'm not sure what Woodmark means. Some sort of logo, maybe. The file type, so SVG, PNG, JPEG, WebP. It's usually a video, or it could just be an interactive image or something. Again, some of it's cached. So cached just means it's available maybe on different servers or your browser, seen it before, so it's not going to download it again, things like that. The videos, so you can actually download videos off the hex.com website because they're hosted. Here you can see hex.com/assets. So yeah, let's copy value and copy URL. So I'm just going to copy one of them. I want to bring DevTools up on the go.hex.com. That's something I haven't did before. I think it's interesting. So yeah, you can download the video here, whatever. You can see that it's hosted in a folder called /assets. I guarantee if you go there, it's not going to do anything. It'll probably redirect you, or yeah, not found. So that doesn't allow directory relisting. Maybe another reason it's showing that. So some security stuff to make sure directory listings is, I mean, could have sensitive data or whatever. So a lot of times they're turned off. That's another reason. There's also a console debugger, and I was looking at this yesterday, and it looks like there's some kind of scam. So usually this is not here. This is like, yeah, I'm pretty sure this is like custom. The devs on the Hex website was like, people keep getting scammed because there's some tutorial that's like, oh, go to your console, go to your DevTools and console and type this in, and it'll, maybe it'll connect you to another website or get you scammed in some way. So I like how they did this. This is cool. They're like, you know what? We're going to put this in the code in the website and put a message in here to help people from getting scammed. If anyone ever tries to tell you, go to hex.com, type the stuff in the console, because you can interact with JavaScript and the code, in the console. So, but actually, in case you actually want to know what you're doing, visit hex.com/dev. Yeah, very cool. Very cool Hex devs. There's a MetaMask thing here that talks about deprecated stuff. So essentially you can get a view of any errors that are going on the website, any warnings, you're able to interact with the code itself through the console, stuff like that. I'm not going to interact with it right now. I don't have any good examples off the top of my head anyways, but yeah, same origin policy is pretty core to the web, the modern web too. They got debugger, style editor. So yeah, you can look at the different code that's on the hex.com website. Let's see, performance, memory, storage. Yeah, you can look at any cookies. So there's nothing on the cookies here, but local storage has a couple things. It looks like it has something to do with the swap right here. So it's just how a website is interacting with your browser. It's just an interesting way of looking at it. So a lot of people probably never opened up the DevTools, right? Like you can do a lot of stuff opening up DevTools. And then what was interesting too? Let's see, I'll open up DevTools on the hex.com/stake because I think this could be, I'm gonna reload the page. Go to hex.com. What was it? I think I saw, ETHEX. Yeah, so ETHEX here. It's loading stuff from ETHEX. So if you go to ETHEX, so this also tells you what kind of domains stuff could be loaded from or making connections to when you go to the website. So I was wondering, I was like, it's talking to ETHEX because ETHEX is holding some kind of data here. And if we go to ETHEX.com, I think it just goes to the Uniswap front end to host hey, you can swap between Hex here, and it's integrated on the website. Looks like there too. So, let's see, what else am I going to show? So that certificate, we talked about certificates. Let me know if y'all have any questions about computers and networking and anything to do with, I can show you through here. I'm just going to click around a little bit. I don't know how, what to get into with on this. So this is the headers on the different requests and stuff. It's just good to, if you ever want to poke around with websites and figure out what's going on, like a dev would, this is just good stuff to know. Let's see, staking. Yeah, if we go to the console here, anything interesting? Yeah, I thought there'd be more stuff on the, I guess if if I unlock MetaMask and start interacting with it, it may do more stuff. Maybe I'll unlock MetaMask because I don't, but it'll show my address here. It's a test address anyways, but maybe I won't do that. So what else? I wonder if hex.win still works. We probably should redirect to hex.com. Yep. As I suspected. All right, I'll get to questions for a second. We got some win 1 penny hex. Win 1 penny hex. I don't know. I think certainly possible. It's looking more possible every week, isn't it? So I said the other day, I mean, people on Twitter have been saying it too, and I'm just like, every time I hear 1 penny hex, I just think, like, I don't like to see the price go down because, of course, you like the pride of price go up, but when price go down, a lot of people could be selling a lot of stuff because they know price usually goes back up. If you look at the cycles, not financial advice in any way imaginable. But if you look at the cycles, it goes down and it goes back up. And the people who buy when it goes down are often rewarded, except if you invest in bankrupt centralized exchanges and yield earning things. BlockFi went down officially now. Everyone was suspecting it, but when 1 penny hex could happen. Can we change the men's diet? I think people are less interested in men's diet than computers. But if they aren't, ask the men's diet questions. I'll tell you. As Richard says, diet beats exercise every time, and I've been learning that lately because I feel myself gaining a couple pounds in the last couple weeks because so much celebration and hanging out with Hexicans and Thanksgiving and holidays and family and all this stuff. And I'm like, man, I got to get back to my regular keto. I got to get back to my eating less. You really don't know how much you don't need to eat until you stop eating so much and your body gets used to it. But then, if you're around holidays and stuff and people and you're like, oh, I got to indulge and I should celebrate, then you end up making your body go into a different mode and start wanting more and expecting more. So anyways, when PulseChain, sir? Oh, gosh, any day now, right? Any day now. I don't know. I think about it sometimes, but it's one of those things, I have the thought, it'd be nice if it came. It'd be nice if it was December, January, February, whatever. And then it just kind of goes away. Yeah, but there's nothing I can do about it. It's the Warren Buffett. You should only think about things that are knowable and important. If it's not important, you shouldn't spend too much time thinking about it. If it's not knowable, then it doesn't matter how much you think about it. You'll never come up with an accurate answer. So PulseChain launch is important, but it's not knowable. So that's why I just kind of like, it's a thought. Oh, I wonder when PulseChain, I wonder. And then it just goes away. Like, yeah, I don't know. So what's up, J-Man? What's up, J-Man? Can't wait for V3. V3. Oh, testnet V3. I was like, Uniswap V3? I can wait for that. That's like May next year. I think we should wait for that one. I think PulseChain before V3. Please. That'd be great, wouldn't it? If we get to mid-May next year and PulseChain hasn't launched, I don't know. You're probably still going to see the same stone cold, unshakable confidence, but it's going to be like, dang, Richard, this is taking a while. Forget to mid-May 2023 and hasn't launched. Because then you can't even say the joke no longer becomes funny of maybe he meant 2023. Not as funny anymore after that. But I don't know. I trust Richard to do what he's doing. I don't think anyone else knows how to run things better than Richard. And not saying he's never made a mistake and not saying that he's never did things he wish he would have did a little bit differently. But I think he's 3 steps ahead of everyone else. I think he's already got a whiteboard with all this stuff mapped out and all these things. Like, he already knows all the situations, all the possibilities. He probably has all kinds of legal teams constantly advising him on like updating these type of scenarios and stuff. So whatever happens, I think he's making the best moves he can. And I think we're on solid footing everywhere. The more centralized crap that goes down, I know that entices the regulators and, we need to, here's an opportunity, blah, 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 all this stuff. But at the same time, that's even more, ammunition we can use as, look, there is no corporation. There is no way for us to lose your coins. There is no centralized, thing you deposit into that'll go use your funds to go leverage trade. There is nothing like that with Hex or PulseChain and stuff like that. All the blue chips. Richard's been very careful to make sure everything he designs, the starting at zero value, like, you can't. Now is not the time to start doubting him. Like if you're going to doubt him, it was like when you were trying to make your choice whether to get in it or not. And once you decide you're in, I mean you're in. Like what's the sunk cost fallacy deal? I mean it's kind of applicable here in a good way, because people who want to be in, they want to, like, you need to, once you're in, you need to stay in, like show consistency. And but at the same time, you could say, okay, consistency. A lot of people lost money on BlockFi because of consistency. You know, they lost money on Celsius and because they didn't want to believe that it was going down. But the difference is with Hex, it can't go down. It is software, 100% uptime, flawless, immutable, all that stuff, trustless. And so it can't ever go down. And if it's regulated away in one place, it can go to another place. And there's no managerial effort required. It's great. So that's the big difference. So if I'm going to be consistent and have unshakable confidence and commit myself something for years and years and years to healthy ideals, it's going to be a product like Hex. That's like, what's better? I haven't seen anything better. I've seen a lot of inferior products going down, but I haven't seen anything better than Hex or what Richard's doing to support the ecosystem. RH should run for president. Yes, he should. He is an American. It's kind of like Kanye running for president. Like, there's no political background, even though he has a lot of, okay, I guess it's not kind of like, I guess he'd be better than Kanye because, I have more faith in Richard's ideals than Kanye with. I love Kanye, by the way. Probably my favorite rapper. The guy's amazing with the lyrics, but he's probably not amazing with the policies, I imagine. So, but I'm comparing them because the two are kind of like these, dark horse candidates that don't have really any political background or things like that. They just have a lot of money and notoriety in certain niches. But there is some future in the multiverse where Richard is president, and that'd be pretty cool. I'd be down for that. But it's kind of like, when we're going to have a libertarian president? I don't know. I support the idea, but when's it going to happen? I don't know. Let's see. Edward Snowden and Richard talk. They have the same views on crypto. Yeah. Snowden and Richard talking, that would be cool. There's a lot of people. Andrew Tate and Richard. I tweeted today about Sagar and Crystal. If anyone wants breaking points, it's really good. It's like the only news channel that I watch, and I watch it very sparingly. So I try to devote like at most 10 minutes to news per day at most, and it's just healthy topics that I'm interested in, and it's from breaking points. And I saw that Sagar. So there's two hosts, Sagar and Crystal, and I saw Sagar did a segment about losing a bunch of money on BlockFi, and I tweeted at him right before the stream, and I said, "Hey, I saw you lost a bunch of money on BlockFi. Don't lose faith in crypto. There's instruments that Richard has made that have trustless yield, and check it out. See what comes of it." But I'd love to see him and Richard talk, or Richard be featured on their show. There's lots of people, Lex Friedman, Joe Rogan, all the big channels like that. Richard's already been on a lot of really good ones. Valuetainment was fantastic. In-person stuff is great. I'm excited for the next live stream of the throne. So when he has something to say, he'll do it. Hey, I like the cup, by the way. I've got a lot of comments on the cup on the live stream. In real life, I gave some away. Gave some pins away too, some merch. But again, I don't sell anyone anything, so I only give it away. So, anyone, let me know if there's some place that I can have merch made, or I can give them design, they'll make it, and they'll give me these coupons that I can give to people, and I'll pay for the stuff, but I just give people like coupons that like make them have a zero cart balance, and they just put in their information, third party ships to them, all this stuff. I don't want anything to do with the shipping part, but I don't want to sell people anything either. So I'd be willing to do that if there was some service. I checked with some popular ones, and they said they don't offer that. probably not the most common use case. People usually want to make money when they sell merch. But yeah, anyone let me know if there's a merch place that I can just prepay. Here's some money that will pay for X number of cups or X number of pins or X number of whatever merch. And then I can just share a coupon code and there'll be like one per address or whatever. And then people can use it online and get it instead of me just giving away in meetups, which is what I'm currently doing. So that's my dedication to not monetizing. I wish there was a place I could give you free stuff on the internet where I didn't have to do, I don't want to run a storefront. I don't want your address. I don't want any of that information. But if there's a third party that can help, that'd be cool. Let me know. Sniff. I expect nothing less. Enjoying yourself. I like it. Enjoying yourself. Be careful out there. Can you imagine RH destroying people on the debate stage? Can we all sign a petition to get him consider running for office? Man, he would just destroy them. Like, I want to. Now you got me thinking, actually considering Richard for president now. Like, how cool would that be? How would cool? He wouldn't be the first billionaire. Or I guess Trump ain't that rich, so. Maybe he would be the first billionaire to be president. No, somebody looked that up. Fact check me on that. I'm not sure. I'll wrap up here in a few. Anybody want to hear about computer stuff anymore? Or otherwise, I'll just make the rest of AMA because I don't really have anything else to share on DNS servers and stuff that I really just want to show you how websites work. So if you want to know how websites work, rewind to the first 25, 30 minutes. Always good. Yeah. When he's tweeting, he's not working. I'll say that. So when he's quiet, it's like that catch-22. He can be quiet, and then we think he's working. But when he's tweeting, we like the updates, or I say updates. It's not even what he gives really. It's just like, he's talking to somebody on Twitter or adding them or writing some, something interesting, but it's not, it's usually nothing about PulseChain. Yeah. What happened to like the testnet was close or whatever thing, or GitLab updates? That was a couple weeks ago. Every day in crypto seems like a quarter or like 2 or 3 months. So it all kind of blurs and also feels like a long time ago since things happened and all that stuff. Shane, debating, stay alive, or what? Yeah, if you want to learn about computers and hex.com stuff, what the website's made of and all the code, and yeah, I'll go into it real quick. I'll just show you, because you can look at the code of website. Okay, real quick. Right click, view page source is like that is cool. I've never seen that. That is cool. God, these devs we have, they write cool stuff. So this is like the rendered. This is not really the true source of websites. You can do this on any website, by the way. This is kind of like what you see and how it's rendered, the source. So there's a lot of fancy web stuff and that goes into it. But what you see generally, there's a lot of exceptions, but this is kind of the code of the website. So you can kind of see. So you see here, ETHEX, it's basically putting that in the website to use for a swap. It's using iframe. So iframe is just like putting one part of the website into another website. Simple way of thinking about it. And then, you can talk about, here's the code. This changes different fonts and different sizes and all that stuff, and different fixtures within the page and all that. You see comments too, like they commented out the calculator. And again, videos and the location of the videos. Nomics, yeah, it's got a link to Nomics on here. Anyways, this is the hex.com rendered code here. There we go. Scam warning and job listing. Apparently there used to be a job listing there. Yeah, you get little Easter eggs of like, devs uploading stuff, and maybe something else was there. And they're putting in a console. They're adding console.log in a very large font. I showed you in the beginning. Never paste anything here, we get scammed. Yeah. And then console.log, in case you actually know what you're doing, visit Hex. So, all right, I'm going to visit hex.com/dev because But oh, that is the job posting. Okay, happy to open. You know what? I had to go to Head Crypto Dev. I don't think I have been on there on Telegram just to see what's up. Anywho, there's some code and stuff. Welcome, Duke of Booze. I like it. Cheers to you. I want to drive hard. Please don't drive if you're doing the things you were talking about before. But maybe you're doing like a hard drive joke. I want to drive hard. So stay alive. It feels better. Yep, it's true. Being alive feels pretty good. I would like to do that for a long time. That's why longevity research, another RHMaxi idea. Here's a question. Can crypto function without the internet? Well, not if you want to send transactions and stuff. You need some sort of ability to get them over the network. That's actually a good question. And there's people working on, is there some like company that's working on satellites? So there's like a backup. If the internet goes down, your money still works, Bitcoin still works, stuff like that. I forget which company. There's some company doing that. So, but yeah, essentially you need to, when you send a transaction and you receive, when you send a transaction and you look at the blockchain to see what the latest stuff is, you need to be able to talk to the nodes to get the information, to download updates and stuff like that, to get the current state of the blockchain. So that's why, if you use Bitcoin and you got to sync the blockchain, and if you don't have internet access, then you can't see the latest balance. But, I guess if you haven't made any transactions, you would still see the old one there. But yeah, using Ethereum is so much better than using Bitcoin. Like, I hate syncing blockchain. All this, it's just horrible. You just use MetaMask for Ethereum or other solutions. If you're staked in Hex currently, are you receiving Hex tokens at current price of 2 cents or the original price of Hex when you staked? Well, you don't receive Hex tokens at a price. You receive them as the number of, the yield, however much T shares you get, or B shares if you're a smaller player. You don't receive them at the current price. You accumulate them. The number of Hex tokens you get goes up if you're accumulating yield, and they'll get minted to you when you end the stake by the contract. So the contract doesn't hold anything. Fun fact for everyone: the contract does not hold any coins. It's like if everyone asks, "Oh, how does Hex work? Does it hold it? You give it your coins and it makes you interest?" Actually, no. You give the coins. You don't give it the coins. You say, "Here's some coins," and it burns them. And then days pass by. You get yield. Whatever happens. And at the end of the stake, if it owes you yield, it mints you all the coins back out of thin air. That's how it gets by with not being a DAO. That's how it gets by with not, all the trustless stuff. There's no, Hex can't be hacked because it's not holding anything. So it's like the security principle too. The best way not to leak user data or leak or get hacked or whatever is to not have it in the first place. So that's a huge innovation with Hex, is it never holds your money. It just has the ability to keep track of what it owes you after it burns what you give it. So very cool. Very beautiful thing about Hex. Let me know if I answered your question. But Hex tokens, you don't get anything regarding the price of Hex. You just get more tokens if you are favorable with the truth engine, do what you say you're going to do, don't mercy and stick, all that stuff. If you would like to do so, you can murder the like button. I'm just here to talk computer stuff and answer crypto questions. Jerry got a cup. That's true. He had to hide it. I only brought 5 the other day, and he was probably one of the people that hid it, so no one else could get it at the end of the meetup. Wasn't me, Sniff, but moderators be moderating, man. You say some funny stuff sometimes. I don't think I've ever put you in timeout. I don't think, but if somebody did, they might have. I'll leave it at that. Any thoughts on PulseChain nodes? I've been trying to get a hold of David Feeder, and because I want to get him back on the show sometime, either 100% uptime or just do a stream with him. Really fun to do streams with, but he seems busy right now. But I would like to get his perspective. I was going to ask him, like, hey, now that the dust has settled, now that we sort of know after the fork how things are going to be, I know a lot of people are disappointed who are running nodes and things like that. I want to get his thoughts. So I wanted to go to the source, to the expert, the person who is running nodes and prepping and doing all this work beforehand, and see what his current thoughts are. I think that'd be an excellent stream. So I'm gonna try to put that together. Maybe after the holidays now. It seems like a lot of people are busy for around this time right now. God, sniff. Oh, sniff. Blockstream. That's the one. They're putting satellites and stuff up. Yes, that would be. We need that. We need to be able to access our crypto. That is definitely a vulnerability in crypto right now. You currently need the internet, or most people do. But in the future, hopefully, you'll just be able to buy like a $20, satellite receiver, and just, hey, you want to do crypto? You can't browse the internet or anything, but hey, you want to do crypto? You want to send transaction? No internet? No problem. We got you. That's what I'm hoping for. Sniff. I acknowledge a lot of your comments with a snicker or a sniff. Not saying I agree with everything you say, but some of them are pretty funny. Exactly. Yep. That's Almighty Hexagon. Welcome. Like that name. You could also be Almighty Pulse Hexagon, because there's a big X there. I like that one too. You think RH is planning on Hex following the price of ETH BTC from the beginning? He brags about how we have been doing better since launch for STEM, so it wouldn't look dumb if it starts doing worse. Is planning on Hex following the price? I mean, Richard doesn't plan on anything. We have no expectations of what he does. There are some entities within the system who are a Hex holder's best friend, and also hopefully have good intentions. They seem to be pretty benevolent so far. And there's plenty of whales who are super selling, and they have been for a while, but a lot of other ones want to see the ecosystem do well, and they have a lot of control over the price and stuff. So I don't know. I mean, it seems like a pretty fair system if it goes down 95%, because it doesn't look like a lot of people are, trying to hold it up. They want people to have a chance to buy the bottom. That's one way of looking at it. And if the X's come back, then that's what they've done before, right? They went up and down. If you look at the Hex price chart, you see a lot of ups and downs. So I think we got a lot of benevolent players in the ecosystem, and I don't think Richard. He was saying we're going to beat Ethereum 2.0 to market too, but that didn't happen, right? So there's things that are not always in his control. He can't launch PulseChain if it's not ready. So if you can't launch before ETH 2.0 hits market, then we didn't beat them, which is fine. Like, we got a lot of other bragging rights. It's like, do you want to brag about you want Richard to everything he says to be 100% correct, and like we meet all these deadlines, all the 4 more week deadlines? Or do you want to participate in an ecosystem whose goal, and a lot of products are designed to be the highest appreciating asset class of all time? I choose the latter every single time. So I don't care how much. I don't care if he gets in clown makeup and goes on and starts doing a reality show. I don't care. If whatever he's doing, he thinks it's in the best interest of this community, and we nominated him as the smartest one. I'm pretty sure he gets to make these calls. He's the billionaire, so I trust in this billionaire. Can you get Hex from your stake without ending it? I heard someone on the channel a few days ago about quarterly yield. I thought you had to end your stake for getting yield. Yeah, that sounds like they're doing a ladder. So if they're doing quarterly yield, that means they have I'm assuming it's the most common way of doing it. They have multiple stakes. So they don't just have one stake. They have multiple stakes, which are ending, every quarter, for example, which again, if you watch my if you watched my stream the other day about just search for RHMax, are you doing hex wrong? And I go through this of like why, it's better to do 5-year, 10-year, 15-year type things, or at least more than 2 or 3 year, and definitely not quarterly unless you're like a huge whale and all that stuff. Not giving advice here. I'm just saying it sounds like in this situation, people are doing quarterly yields, and if it works for them, it works for them. But that's not maximizing your gains, and that's the principles that we try to preach in the ecosystem: is maximize your gains, maximize your T-shares. T-shares are key, and quarterly is not going to get you a lot of T-shares unless you're a mega whale, and then maybe you have a different plan going on. I wouldn't want to think about tax implications for it. I wouldn't want to think about not getting the same T-shares back when you go to restake. There's a lot of things that I would prefer doing that for, but it sounds like that's what they're talking about. Answer your direct question: you cannot get hex. The contract will not mint you hex without ending your stake. To answer your question directly, so it sounds like they're doing a quarterly ladder. Crypto Truth, something going on, man. Oh, summary. Send it to, if you got a Google Doc, I'd recommend putting in a Google Doc. He's talking about 15 ways to fix the world and Scivive. These are Richard's books, if you all are not aware. They've been narrated by audio, and just go on YouTube and search for Scivive narration or 15 ways to fix the world narration if you want to listen to them. Fantastic. I highly recommend it. A Wild SJ and I have been, she's been taking the lead on a lot of stuff. I've been helping get timestamps on a lot of videos, and I've written blogs on Scivive and all that stuff too, and the Richard's books and commentary and all those things. So I'm active in that community as far as that goes. So preface that, just want to tell everyone what you're talking about. On the summary, thank you for working on that. That's cool. More stuff, the better. If you put it in a Google Doc and then share it with, let's see, if you share it with me, I can share it with SJ too. I'm gonna drop my email in the chat. Shit, I misspelled it. Usually don't. My fingers know where to go usually. The second one. So if you email it to me, just share the Google Doc with me, and then I can get it to her as well. And did you want some feedback? Let me know, like, what, do you want some feedback? Do you want some, whatever you need from it, and we'll take a look at it. Appreciate you. Jeez. Yeah, man. I hear you. It takes time. See, that's why I talk about all this stuff that I don't make any money off of. I don't talk about stuff that always gets clicks. I talk about Scivive. I talk about longevity. Very hard to get people to tune into this stuff. I don't get a lot of likes. I don't get a lot of views, but I think it's important, so I do it. So yeah, I appreciate you spending time on Scivive and Fix the World stuff, man. Just shoot me a Google Doc, and if it's a Word doc, then you can upload a Word doc to Google Drive, or you can upload it to Google Docs technically too. Anyways, it's better if it's online, because then I can do reviews and I can do comments and stuff, and so can she. So if you just figure out how to get it into Google, so we can collaborate on it a little bit. If you want feedback, and let me know what you want, what you expect from it as well, and I'll spend some time reading it. Always appreciate that. Yeah, thanks Jerry for linking that. That was a fun one to do. It turned out very well. I'm glad that I get to talk about that. I don't talk about Hex very much, and I'm not the technical guy to talk about Hex. There's a lot of better technical explanations on this stuff. I know the basics, obviously, but you want to talk to Wells or Coffee or watch their videos if you want to get down to the math a lot of times too. I like the philosophy side. I like the just the basics technical side, but those guys go deep. Awesome. Thanks, Crypto Truth. That's could be right, Sniff. Could be right. Sounds good, man. Appreciate it. Yep, good. Yep, you're welcome, Arizona. Anytime. I think Sniff's made me laugh this stream more than anyone else, Jerry. You got to step it up, Jerry. Yeah, it's a good comment. Cardano went down 99% and did all-time high. There you go. things go down and then they go back up, and then people are really mad when they go down, but when they go up, they how are you gonna? So yeah, that's what I always ask myself too. If I ever think about being mad or being, having negative feelings about PulseChain not launched yet, or Hex price being down, or whatever, all the other things you got going on in your life too, like, we understand financial freedom. It's amazing. We all want it. We all want to own our own time. That's what brings our community together. That's what brings us together with Richard and the products he provides. And so I understand the angst that comes with this kind of bear. It's been brutal. I said it yesterday. I was talking to Corey, the investor, yesterday, and it's been a brutal bear market. I acknowledge that it has. I would just say think long term, and think when there isn't bear market anymore, when we do start going sideways and the bleeding stops, and we start healing, and then eventually, the market, I imagine, it's going to do the opposite of bear market, as it keeps doing over and over and over, like any other market. It's not even me like saying it's going to happen. It's just me like looking at history and saying it. Imagine how you're going to feel, and like, are you going to be proud of, I'm not saying, and I'm just speaking generally, like if you're sending tweets or asking Richard for a refund, or you're taking your frustration out on other people, or whatever it is. I'm not saying I get those comments. I get some pretty interesting ones, but I'm just saying in general, how are you going to feel about yourself? Are you going to say, oh, I didn't know it's going to go back up? Because if you didn't know it was going to go back up, you don't believe all the charts that happened before. It seems pretty, like, based on that data, it seems obvious. So if you know it's going to go back up, you should, and logically you should be less frustrated, right? Because you got to wait. I know nobody likes waiting, but ethos of the ecosystem, you got to wait. Sounds good, man. Sounds good. Yeah, just tell you what I think for sure. Any other questions? We're at the hour mark, and we'll get off of here. Thanks for sticking with me. Rewind to the beginning if you're interested to see computer stuff and learn about what happens when your browser talks to websites. And I just use hex.com as an example website. I could have used google.com, could have used anything. I just used Hex because we love Hex, so why not? No, actually I didn't, but I love American Pie. Great movie. Great movie. I might have played an instrument, but I did not go to band camp. That's true. Good question, Jerry. Thanks for bringing the heat, Jerry. Thanks for bringing the heat. You're trying to one-up Sniff on that one, I think. Touche. So tomorrow, I got a liquidity providing AMA going on. There'll be 2 parts. Yeah, I got 2 planned. One tomorrow with Sam Stolt, and Stoke from 0x Coast. 2 very smart guys, especially in the LP direction. They got a lot of good stuff to share on that. And then I'll have another one with Crypto Sloth doing LP in the week after that or sometime. So tune in for that. Set a reminder. Nope. Didn't play that one, Sniff. Didn't play that one. Yeah. Richard hasn't changed, man. Richard's been the same guy. He may dress differently, may do all this stuff, but he's the same guy. He wants to be a force for good, and he's doing everything he can. Appreciate Crypto Truth. So Wednesday, 3:30 Pacific, 6:30 Eastern, we got LP conversation. And then Friday, Friday is Hex's birthday. Yay. Third birthday. Funding Jim has said he's coming on. So I hope that works out. He said that he will come on Hex's birthday. And that'll be happening in the morning, probably around 11 Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern on Friday. So it may have Funding Jim, and I've invited a couple other people. We'll see if they want to come too. Actually, I need to check in with them. Should be a good stream. So tomorrow, LP stuff. Friday, we got Hex birthday. Basically, AMA. We'll just talk about whatever's going on. Not a huge agenda, just kind of celebrating Hex being 3 years old. And that's That's all I got tonight. Thanks for tuning in. Again, rewind if you want some technical talk, or go halfway through if you want AMA. And Scivive and 5555.